let's get to the first question of the day. So the first question of the day, Samrat, is why do you think India is likely to be more affected from the pandemic than the numbers show?
I think there can be multiple reasons behind it. The first thing that I think is that all of us kept on hearing news in the last year that India is going through slowdown and a prolonged slowdown and a more further, I mean, longer than predicted slowdown. So when India was entering into the coronavirus pandemic, India was already stuck with a slowdown. As if you recall, India's GDP growth rate was 5.6% in quarter one, which was considered to be low. It further deteriorated to 5.1% and then 4.7% in quarter three. Now 5.1% was already 6-year low. Then it went to further 4.7%. So we all can imagine what kind of an adverse situation we were already in, and this coronavirus has come as another, nail in the coffin. Fine. This is the first reason. The second reason, I suppose, is the base effect. In the last year, since it was the slowdown was already there, so the growth rate was low. So that base effect will swell up economy's progress in the current fiscal. So it will appear larger than actually it is, right?
Okay.
So these are the 2 points. My third and last point is that testing, the number of testing in India, the coronavirus testing, is comparatively not low, but much lower than other countries. I will give you a rough idea about how low it is. So in South Korea, I'm talking about a Bloomberg report that was published in the first week of April. In South Korea, there were 1100 testings per million. 1100. In Vietnam, there were 366 testings per million. And in Pakistan, there were 68 testings per million. In India, there were only 33. South Korea, 1100 per million, India, 33 per million. So this has kept in the world blindfolded about India's true picture of coronavirus. So I think these three things can make India's position a little worse than what it actually is portrayed.
Okay. Well, that was a little bit gloomy, but I want to get your view on another aspect. How much truth do you think is there in UN saying that while major economies are going to face a major, big time recession, but India and China, on the other hand, are going to be able to dodge this recession? So
Yes,
how much truth do you think is there in this?
No, I think this is 85% truth. The why I find that India and China has a silver lining around the coronavirus dark clouds, because India and China are highly populous countries. In these two countries, the rural economy and unorganized sector play a very important role. So when you talk about unorganized sector, India is unorganized sector dominated economy around more than, because there is no like rigid figure about it that I can quote, but every government says that more than 70% of India's total economy is unorganized sector. So this sector depend on Colgate paste, Badinath Chawanprash. So these are small goods that fulfill this unorganized sector and rural economy, which is made in India and supplied in India. So any downturn in the global economy is likely not to affect India's this sector too much. So this is what I think that a UN report would be based on. However, when I talk about China, I think China is allegedly hiding its true figures. So that can be one of the reasons why China is kept along with India out of this. But for India, it's all about rural sector and unorganized sector. So this is a brighter side of why India can dodge a recession when the global countries will succumb to it.
Wonderful. That's an interesting take on things.
Yeah.
Now let's ask you the next question, which is about what do you think is the forecast for the manufacturing and the services sector, both India, perhaps more so India than globally? What do you think is the forecast?
Forecast for manufacturing sector, right?
Right, and services if possible.
Yeah, because if you recall a few, the most recent news about India's industrial production, the IIP growth rate
Right.
of March, of March. So the IIP growth rate of March was the month when India was partially already affected by coronavirus pandemic, right?
Right.
Even after that, India's IIP growth rate was 4.5%, which was 7-month high. Okay. Yes. So India's IIP growth rate was 4.5%, which was 7-month high in March. However, in April, everything came to a standstill. But we have to see that from a perception. That when it is a lockdown, when it is standstill, everything is standstill. We cannot compare this thing. We cannot take this data and do a mathematical calculation. But we have to go by the trend, right? So I suppose April will be a month of like heavy contraction. May will be a month of heavy contraction, but the moment it recovers, the lockdown ends up. And today is 20th April, I suppose from today, most of the activities have already started.
Right.
So yeah, and another good aspect to the manufacturing sector is that even when the manufacturing sector was contracting in the previous months, the PMI was continuously expanding. The PMI, I suppose, to the students that I suppose the PMI is Purchasing Managers Index, which is a perception of how the
Correct.
economic activities will
Oh,
follow. So even as the IIP was contracting, the PMI was continuously expanding. So that shows that the animal spirits, the confidence of people in the business activity was on a very bright side. And so is it right now. So I think manufacturing sector's outlook is pretty good. If you did you ask about services too?
yeah, services, because services, especially like the entertainment services and the theater services, as well as our, routine services that we need, like haircuts and stuff like that, those are malls. These are really badly affected. Even our education sector comes under the service sector. And although we are doing a lot of work online, and there are some sort of hindrances in terms of doing work online as well.
Yeah. So for services sector, there is a grim outlook, and we cannot deny that thing, because sectors like tourism that are directly affected from the pandemic, it's not it's not like manufacturing sector that as soon as the lockdown gets over, the company will get with full force and start its operation at 100% efficiency. Tourism is one of the sectors that will keep on being affected for a little longer, because people like us will be afraid of going to foreign countries, tourist spots. So I think it will take a few months before services sector come back. However, I think services sector with like hospitality will revive soon, because people have been locked from many days and businesses are stopped. So as soon as the lockdown gets over, people will rush to places to get their deals done, because this is the first quarter, and in the first and second quarter most of the contracts and deals for the entire year is done, right? So as soon as the lockdown gets over, hospitality sector is set to rise. But again, I think banking services, once again, RBI just gave a huge deal of reliefs to banking sector, a mouthful of perks to banking sector. And banking sectors are completely without any fear. They are giving credits, and the more credits they give, the more profitable they are. So the government and RBI are doing enough, but I think manufacturing is still in a better state than services.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Samrat. So next, a little more of a global question. Now,
Yeah.
how can PM Modi's international image and India's international relations help in solidifying India's position in the new world order which emerges after the coronavirus pandemic?
With the international relations is very interesting, and it gets more interesting after POTUS Donald Trump came for a state visit right before this coronavirus pandemic.
Correct.
So India has a double-edged sword right now. After Donald Trump came to India and made a state visit, it gave a clear message to the world about the importance and power of India. Right? That is the one thing. Other thing is that the allegation on China, that I mean to be it's a clear allegation on China to be made responsible behind the uh, behind hiding the actual picture of coronavirus, right? So China has been isolated on the global fraternity. So in if you talk about Southeast Asia, India and China, these two nations are like first and second. If China gets away, India takes the number one spot. Fine. And also, I will give you an example. Samsung shut down one of its plants in China. I think Samsung has stopped operations in China. And at the same time, China has made world's largest facility in Noida. So now everybody knows if China leaves, if Samsung leaves China, where does it go? It goes to India, right?
Right.
Right. This is one of the perks of Modi's international tie-ups. As we can all, get back a few times later, a few days later, why Abhinandan was released in 2 days. Everybody knows. I may sound controversial at times, but we all know why Abhinandan was released just in 2 days. It was all about international pressure. It's nothing more than that. So we know what role it plays.
Right.
Also, I would like to add one point. This
Please.
hydroxychloroquine thing has placed India at a spot where Brazilian president called India's prime minister as relating to Hanuman bringing Sanjeevani. This sounds dramatic, but this is the statement he gave. I mean, this shows that India, in terms of respect and power, has climbed many stairs in the last few months.
Wonderful. That's really good to know. See, things may be a little gloomy, things may be a little sad, but how long do you think this adverse economic situation will last? Are we to a place where we are going to ease lockdowns? Is economic activity going to pick up? How long do you think the adverse economic situation will last?
I would like to give a reference of RBI's recent announcement. RBI gave many perks to the real estate sector, but then we being outside the real estate sector, we saw that they got more than what they expected, and RBI did much. But even after that, real estate sector said unless the lockdown is lifted, no relief is enough. Fine. So I must tell you that today is 20th April, and there are many activities that have already been started. According to my sources, I think by May 3, I'm not sure if people will be allowed to move around or not, but definitely there will be more services that will be released to operate. And this will gradually keep on happening because the government cannot afford to keep it locked down for a longer time because India is not so much of resource worthy. And Italy has also started to do that. And because there is something called import cover and other things, how much cover do we have? But Indian economy has been one of the fastest growing economy in recent past, right?
Right.
So when we talk about recovery, so that recovery will be the fastest as well. I would like to highlight one of the points that I find is really missing out of the news coverage and discussions, that this coronavirus, India and US compared, US lies far higher than India, Germany lies far higher than India, but those countries are so much affected from coronavirus that this COVID-19 has put the many countries at level grounds. And from here, India's fast growing rate can take can give India an advantage. So going back to your question that how long can it last? So I think the effects and the pain will keep on decreasing with coming months, but for the economic growth rate to come back to normal, I think that will happen only in the first quarter next fiscal.
Next fiscal. Okay. Well, we are
Sriram, can I
getting
interrupt?
towards. Yes. 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 Anyone
Yeah,
wants to
this is
interrupt?
Samrat. Hi, Samrat. This is Rahul
Hello, sir.
Sharma.
Hello, sir. I can see
Hi.
you.
Yeah, I'm Samrat. I want to ask one question. That don't you think that even after lockdown gets over in May, then the labor which has moved to their native places, or the labor which will move, which is waiting for the lockdown to be over, and then they want to move to their native places, then again this particular thing will obstruct the production and all those activities.
Sir, I would first like to talk about the laborers who could not go to their hometown.
Yeah.
Right. So they are stranded in Delhi and Mumbai, and these activities have already started today. So these laborers want to go back to their hometown because they do not have a living to earn. But now, when the activities have started, I do not think they will have a purpose to go back to their hometown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And the second thing is people who have already gone to their hometown in the expectation that they can move to the agricultural sector, right? But once the harvesting is done, which is going to be completed very soon, so they will have to come back to normal, to the country, to the city side for the manufacturing sector, because people live in their homeland only for agricultural produce. If there is no agricultural produce, if the harvesting is done, they will try to come back to industries to earn more. And if things are going to, I mean, if things get normal, they will not have a purpose to stay back there as well. I mean, there must be some reason why they came back in the first place.
Correct.
I feel, uh, Rahul, are you over or you are still continuing?
Yeah, I'm there, sir.
No, continuing means your questions and answers. You are questioning Samarth.
Hello.
You are still
Yeah.
questioning Samarth? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Samarth, what I am thinking that the pace with which this particular virus problem will be over,
Yeah.
either through vaccination or through medicines,
Yeah.
that will decide how fast our economy is going to recover. The sooner we get the vaccine or the medicine, it will recover very fast. But if it is delayed, even by 6 months or 9 months, it is going to have disastrous effects on the economy, because the people who have shifted to villages, they will be settled, they will get some occupation over there, and they have suffered here in the city so much, some of them might not even like to return over here. So it is going to be a great effect after, this virus is over. That will only decide. And so far as the recovery is economy or the growth of GDP, see, someday or the other, it is going to be over. This virus is going to be over. But the economic development might be delayed, maybe for a year or for 2 years. But since our economy is agricultural based, I am very, very confident that overall impact on our economy will not be at least negative. It is going to be positive. It is going to be positive. Of course, growth will be reduced to a great extent. But again, it depends on the pace with which we get the vaccination.
Sir, on what grounds do you call our Indian economy as agriculture based?
Our economy is agricultural based. What I am saying is, I am not talking of today. I am talking of in principle We have agricultural base in our country. 70% of our population lives in villages. It
Yes,
is
sir. So,
only of late in the last few decades that they have shifted to the cities and they have taken occupation over here in industry, in construction, in other developmental activities. But with the kind of suffering they have had right now, I think that a large number of force will go back. They have already gone back, or they will go back and they will settle there because they are starving over here in the cities now,
Right, right.
and their families are suffering substantially. But again, how long? If it is goes 6 months, 1 year, definitely it is going to reverse the cycle. Reverse the cycle. But overall development time, I mean to say, services will definitely prosper. Services is not going to have much. But industry as well as they say agricultural contribution to the economy, they will balance quite a lot. And it is good. Agricultural based, many things will come, processing, industrial processing of various items will develop, new items will develop. So agricultural base, I am talking, I'm not talking agricultural economy, I am talking agricultural base economy.
Right. Wonderful.
So gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, one thing I just wanted to convey you, I am scheduled to take one webinar at 8 o'clock of the kids ranging 5 to 12 years, Bal Sanskar Shala. Since I am the speaker, may I take leave from you?
Yes,
Sure,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir.
Thank you. It
Okay.
was pleasure to have you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. It was
Thank
pleasure
you.
to have
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will be, since we have only about 5 minutes left, I have one question which I have thought of from the point of view of the students who have joined in. See, I don't want to appear very gloomy, and I want this to be still a very positive thing. How do you think, Samrat, college grads, people like you and people that have joined in into the webinar, how do you think college grads can see this as a golden opportunity rather than a setback? Let's put a positive end to this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this entire thing has a positive end. We do not have to make it a positive end. It already has. So I think that there is an interesting answer to this question, and people may have a conflict of opinion on this. But I think that since there have been some layoffs and salary cuts, because the last story I did was Infosys announcing that it will not revoke any offer made to the fresher, and Infosys was the second company to say that. Before that, TCS had already made that announcement. Fine.
Wonderful.
So so it means that freshers are being respected and their values have been identified.
I don't know.
Okay. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Last concluding remarks from you, ma'am. Please.
Question slightly different.
Right,
You
ma'am.
see, we've been observing, these tablighi cases, etc., etc. Now, do you think, the way I look at it, what is happening in the society, do you think the social divide or social unrest will be an outcome, and it is going to be there for a time to come now, for a long time to come? Because the divide is the wedges are becoming deeper and deeper.
Ma'am, that
Can you hear
divide
me?
has, yes, I can hear you and I got your question. And what I have with me is I can see the things that you just highlighted. I can see the divide happening, but I also have faith in one principle, that there are two brothers, both of them keeps on fighting, but whenever the neighbor comes, both brothers are together. Fine. So coronavirus is a third person here, is a threat here. So willingly or unwillingly, people in the country have to be united to survive. Otherwise, uh, it's not possible that one can secure his both eyes. One eye will be lost for
No,
at least
but
one.
that is something that all of us, everybody, even the Prime Minister would wish for. But it's not exactly what is happening right now. Very, very uncomfortable socially, you know.
I know, ma'am. But
And
the examples that you were giving was from the very initial phase when people were terrified, when people did not know what was happening, when people did not know how it will go. Now the things are little settled. The doubling rate has also settled down. From 4 days, it has
hello.
expanded to 7 days. Hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, ma'am, can I? Am I audible to you?
Hello.
Yeah, it is better now.
Yeah. So the examples that you are giving are from the times when
Just a cat or बीच में slide.
Priyanka sir, I think ma'am has audio issues.
Yeah, ma'am is having some audio issues. Hello, ma'am. Can
So I can I think that I can say my answer, and she can refer to the answers a little later. Will that be
yeah,
fine?
yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah. So I think the examples that ma'am gave was of times when this pandemic was introduced in India, when we just came to know about what it was. So that was a very scary thing, and people were playing blame games with each other. I mean, and later they found that this thing is not going to spare any of them, be the mistake of anybody else. So I think that this panic has started to settle down, and also our doubling rate has increased from 4 to 7 days now. So things are improving, and when things will improve, the panic will get weakened. And when the panic will get weakened, these blame games and social divide will also, I mean, be
Will
less than what it
reduce.
appears right
Will
now.
reduce.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We
Okay,
have time
let's
for
really hope that.
we have time for only one last question. Rahul sir is raising his hand, and he really wants to ask a question. We only have 2 minutes left, after which Zoom will automatically log us off. So,
Okay.
Rahul sir, please finish fast.
Rahul sir, please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Hello,
Ah, sir. Yes, sir.
am I audible? Yeah,
Yeah,
Samrat. As you know that coming time is going to be very challenging for our students, especially those who will be coming in MBA second year.
yeah, yes.
So, what will be your suggestion to them? How should they prepare for getting placed, or what should do? What your suggestion as an alumni, as a senior, as a big brother?
I think that they have got a golden opportunity here. They have got the entire digital landscape that they are already expertise in. So the things that the freshers are expertised in, I mean, the seniors are using it. So I think if they get a command on digital technologies, if they can show that in the interview, how they can increase the efficiency of the operation of the team they are going to be interviewed for. So this can give them a very, a jack for cracking the interviews. Apart from it, I would like to suggest them to reduce playing PUBG and Mini Militia and instead concentrate on the innovations that are happening every day in the digital cosmos. So it's happening every day. So I think it's very interesting and exciting as well if you concentrate on that. So digital is the key that can take you to like from dawn to dusk.
Thank you, Samrat.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am,
So much. Thank you.
yes, yes. With this, it's pretty much a wrap from my side because there is less than 1 minute left. I would like to thank Renu ma'am for giving us this opportunity and conceptualizing this webinar for us and giving us a way to carry it out. Thanks a lot. See you soon. Stay at home, stay safe, and may God bless us all. Thank you. Thank you, Samrat, and
Okay.
thank you to all of you.
Shriram.